Well, howdy, all you collector car fans out there. This is once again Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports. It's a pretty good tales from the bush for you today. This Petty Blue Superbird, I found this car, and there's a couple other cars in there that I had found, and also people that had sent stuff into me. So let's get started. This is a 1970 446 pack pistol grip 4-speed Superbird in original Petty Blue paint. Remember, Petty Blue paint didn't come out until 1970, so it's a pretty unique color. And here's the craziest thing about this car. This car was a bugger to restore, or to inspect and document, because it is untouched, unrestored, survivor, unmolested, call it what you want. Look at that engine compartment. You just can't fake something like that. At one point I had thought the paint on the outside had been redone, but it had just been very carefully. Somebody with a lot of experience had buffed it out, but yes, this is an untouched Superbird. Quite a low mileage car. I believe it was less than 50,000 miles on it, but what a crazy car to look at. Like this guy had a bunch of unique cars, but this one right here was just absolutely insane. The thing that makes cars like this is insane. You're talking, this car is, what, 50 something years old, and it still looks like this. The good thing about this car is, the story I got from it is, back in the early 90s, I believe the guy said, there was somebody who obviously caught somebody's attention, and they realized, hey, this is a pretty unique car, and they put it building, and it never left. This car had just surfaced when I found it. This guy had bought it and stuck it into his private collection, and it wasn't going to go anywhere forever. This fella had bought the car as it sits. You can see those kind of cheesy speakers sitting in the back. That's the way the car was when he bought it, and he never touched it. That is the original interior. As very hard as it is to believe, I crawled underneath the seat there and looked at the pins and all that, and it's very, very much original car. Very cool car. So now you got a 1970 Super Bee. Now, you know, I've said this before with cars, but it's to everybody, to each his own. If you go to this much trouble to restore a car like this, and this car is restored, I'm not going to try to even tell you it's a survivor, because it's not. Beautiful restoration. But why stick those wheels on there? I mean, personally myself, you go this far to get the car look back to original the way it is. Don't change anything. You bring it right back to the way it came from the factory. You put the original wheels back on. I mean, but you know, when you own the car, you can do whatever the heck you want with it. But check this 70 Super Bee out. Boy, this was a beauty. The paint on it was straight. The bodywork was straight. You used too much Bondo, you can tell, but can you imagine driving down the road back in 1970 in this car? I mean, even then it would have turned some heads, right? I've always been a fan of that bucket seat console setup there. That's just nice and clean and made you feel safe. I don't know, it made me feel safe. I've had a few of these cars, and I really enjoyed driving them. Nice big car, and you know, a car like this hits a car like we got nowadays, and you're walking away. Cool thing was, it was a real air grabber car, and it definitely was restored properly. I mean, a lot of the attention was paid to the engine compartment and the interior, and it definitely was done the way it was supposed to be done. I can't remember if this was a six-pack car or not. You know, it didn't have to be a six-pack car to have that air grabber set up. I've had quite a few 383 cars that were set up with that air grabber as well, but you know, she's just a beauty, and you can tell the trunk was done properly. You know, maybe the trunk didn't need to be replaced all in the first place, but you know, it's nice to see when the trunk and metalwork and all that stuff's done properly. It does make a really big difference, especially when you're trying to resell it years later. And you know, you never know if you got kids or grandkids, and it make it easier for them to have to sell it if they've been given the car by you. But you know, just a beautiful car, nice straight car. I love that color. I know a lot of people don't like that puke green, but I really did like that color. Just it stood out really well. This next car was actually, I think this was sent in by a customer of mine. He wanted me to sell this car for him. 69 Roadrunner convertible, and I don't think it was an air grabber car. It's got the air grabber hood on it, looks like it, but you know, just a beautiful 69 Roadrunner convertible, nice and straight, nice and solid. I think the guy only wanted 40 grand for this car, but this was back in 2005, so you really can't hold that too much. But certainly wish I was smart enough to buy it back then, because all you have to do is hold on to these cars for a little while, and they just keep going up. Yeah, definitely a nice, clean car, and I love that Toro Red. That Toro Red, such a look at that, just straight up bang. Definitely a beauty. You know, I take pictures like this. I like to get pictures like this if I haven't taken them down the side and that. So, you know, that looks like it's just a 383 car, but it is what it is. It's a 69 Roadrunner convertible 383. Nice and straight underneath that hood. Everything looks like it's in the right spot. Doesn't look like it's been driven too much since it was restored, but I don't remember. Did they come with that hood black on or not from the factory, or was that a dealer option? Or did somebody just put that on there because they liked it? I can't remember. I've seen it on quite a few cars, but that bent seat automatic on the column, it wasn't super desirable, but I'm taking this car all day long. Cruising down the road in this thing right there, you're definitely going to get a lot of honks and waves and stuff like that. It'd be just a great cruiser to go around on a Friday night, cruising around the neighborhood and stuff. I really appreciated looking at this car because somebody definitely put a lot of time and money into this car, and you can tell even in the trunk right there, the trunk's done right. I mean, who knows if this trunk pan was actually replaced, but that's how you can tell if a car was done right, because there's so many things that need to be done properly when a trunk pan's replaced, like those quarters, inner quarters, trunk pan, around the wheel well, all that stuff's got to be lined up properly, or you can tell it's been done. This looks like it might have been an original trunk pan. So here we are. I was on a trip up into, I think I was going up into Wisconsin. And it was funny because I had driven past this property before, and it was a really small town, but there was a lot of people in that town that had cars. So I was at this one place for the entire day. I got there early in the morning. I was documenting all this guy's cars he had in barns and all that stuff. And when I drove past this property again at the end of the day, this guy had pulled his car out right in front of the road. And when I stopped and asked him about it, I'm up there, why not? He said he had heard that I was in town, and he wanted me to take a look at his car. And I'm like, oh, well, that's great, man. He said he knew who I was. So this is a 68 Cutlass convertible, not a 442, but what a beautiful car. Now, this guy restored this car in a single car garage. It was a friend of his cars that passed away, and the friend actually had left the car to him. And it was a little rough, but it was 100% complete. The guy had bought the car brand new, so he decided to do it some justice. Look at down the side of that car. Oh my God, it's so hard to get that right. So beautiful and straight. So he decided to do the car some justice and, take care of a proper restoration for his friend's car. And I'll tell you what, the guy did a bang-up job. Now, here's the craziest thing about this car. This guy probably had 30, 40 grand in just the restoration, just collected parts, and everything was either NOS or it was brand new. I don't know how he did some of the stuff that he did, talking about the locks, the top, the interior parts, just an absolutely gorgeous car. He wanted 20 grand for this car, and I feel so stupid that I didn't pick this car up. It wasn't a 442, and I just, the 69 Cutlass, I like that front. I just was never a big fan of the 68, so I passed on it. But I took these pictures, I got the car listed for him, and then I got some people that were interested in the car. When I called him back, he decided he didn't want to sell it, so that doesn't help the business at all. But it's part of the business, and it is what it is. But, I probably should have picked this car up and just held on to it for a little while. But, a lot of people have asked me. I was never big on collecting these cars and having them lying around a storage building and around my houses or stuff like that. It wasn't something that I was interested in doing. I didn't actually collect any of the cars until towards the end of my career, and I collected 50 of the rarest muscle cars in the world that I thought. But besides that, I never really collected any. I'd buy one and drive it and sell it. Most of the time, I never even got a chance to sit in the cars, and I would just flip them because it was about getting the cars out of the crappy positions they were in to the people that would actually love to have that car and do something with it. It was about getting these cars out of the bushes and the swamps and stuff like that and getting them into restoration shops or getting them restored. Boy, look at that interior. I always love those interiors on those Oldsmobiles. Just real classy looking. The seats, the steering wheels, the instrument cluster, everything was just so classy on those cars, The car wasn't quite done yet, but, he had all the stuff, the back seat and that. But, the fella didn't have my number, and he wasn't real good friends of the place that I was at, but he had heard through a friend through the grapevine that I was out there, and he was going to damn well make sure that I got a chance to look at the car. So he took the chance and pushed it out without it being completely finished. But, the instrument cluster right there, it's just wow. Look at all the buttons and stuff like that. That's got to be an NOS bezel because that thing's just perfect. But, he really took the time to take care and do this car right for his friend, and, it definitely showed it. It was just a pretty sweet-looking car, and a little bit of work still needed to be done to it. Could use some few things done to it, but he definitely got the body right. And the engine compartment and all that stuff, I don't know if I got a picture of all that, but the engine looked incredible on it. So, touche for him. And just, sometimes I just wish I would have bought the car. It happened a lot. I wish I would have, paid more attention to stuff like that. But, well, I know. He hasn't even got the carpet in that car yet. So there were still quite a few things needed to get done to it. I got a feeling he just slapped what he could together just so I'd be able to take a look at it. But, it was a cool car to find. I remember right, it had the 350 rocket in it. And I remember my first car was the 1969 442, and it was definitely a car that got up and it went pretty darn good when you laid into it. And I had a lot of fun with that car, but unfortunately, when you're young, you got to do what you got to do, and I sold it. Oh yeah, I do got a picture of it right there. So there you go. That's a nice little picture of the engine compartment. Looked pretty stock there. Looked like he took his time in taking care of making sure that engine compartment was done right. Definitely nice and clean. I can't remember if that's the original air cleaner on those cars or not. I remember right, that is the original air cleaner. You got the brake booster there, and just really nice compartment. I love that orange engine there. Definitely cleaned up very well. That looks like it's done pretty correct. Maybe the red wires are not supposed to be there like that. I'm not too familiar with those 68s, how they're like that, but they're just shiny. I don't think the guy even ran the car very much on it, but when he fired it up to put it back, it sure sounded good. It had a nice little rumble to it. So yeah, this would have been around 2004, 2005. Like I said, I believe the guy wanted 20 grand for this car. But you can see underneath the car was the original undercoated car, and it was definitely really solid. It's can't really hide much there. That nice solid frame on it. Floors look good. That big beefy rear end. It looks like that rear end was replaced at all. The exhaust pipes look, they went back to stock. But 1968 Cutlass convertible. Great car to drive around. Definitely a nice piece. Probably should have picked it up for the 20 grand back then, but we all make mistakes. So it is what it is, and it's just another Tales from the Bush. Well, I appreciate you coming by and checking another Tales from the Bush. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you can. Helping out with the Patreon page would be great if you can do it. That would help me keep going. Thank you from Jason, from the owner of Southern Bush Motorsports.